Hey jerks, and welcome to day 16 of the Beer Jerk Advent Calendar. I'm Matt.
And I'm Luke.
And today we are talking fast because we're trying to get to our staff party. And this is a beer from Urbanaut, which is a purple hazy IPA. Why is it purple, Luke?
It's like you're on 2 times speed and we're listening to one of those energetic podcasts.
I want to drink beers with Brett in it. I'm excited.
This is a beer from Cheers, our pals at Urbanaut, who are just down the road from us, the other end of the Auckland Beer Mile, from the Fridge and Flagon where we're sitting at the moment. And Urbanaut are great friends of ours. We love those guys. We used to share a building with them. So when Beer Jerk started 8 years ago, it was just sort of based in spare rooms. Then we got a lock-up. Then we turned up at Urbanaut when they were still building the brewery in what used to be it was a costume and a props hire place called Hollywood. Anyway, I can't remember what it's called. And I wandered in there one day, and we used to rent the downstairs space at Urbanaut, which has now been completely taken over by their even bigger than ever chiller, and they're canning and they do packaging, and it's all going on down there. So that was a really cool year that we shared with those guys before we outgrew each other and we moved up to the Fridge and Flagon.
Yeah, so it was cool when I started at Beer Jerk. My desk was a piece of chipboard propped up on kegs next to Urbanaut's shonky old boiler, which would spit steam at me as I was trying to work. But yeah, they're a really great bunch of guys, brewing some really cool and interesting beers. And this, it's a blackcurrant hazy IPA, and tastes kind of like Ribena.
Yeah, that's my initial thing. It kind of tastes like cordial has been mixed in with an IPA.
Yeah.
And it's the I'm getting like the hop bitterness and the sort of astringent berry notes.
Yeah.
It's like the tartness of the berry is sort of smashing into the bitterness of the hops.
Yeah, I don't particularly get some strong hazy IPA vibes from it, but as a blackcurrant ale, I think it's pretty nice, and it's got quite a bit of sweetness across the mid palate. It's hopped with Mosaic and Ariana, which is an interesting modern French hop, which we used in one of our recent table beers. But yeah, Urbanaut are known for pushing the boat out. A lot of you may have seen their blender series, where they have two 250ml cans stacked on top of each other and kind of taped together, which is designed to be split apart and drunk separately. They do their big beer small cans drunk separately and then blended together, I should say. Sorry.
You're going so fast, you're missing parts.
And they have their big beer small can series, where they do like really high ABV beers in little 250ml cans, which I think is actually the perfect format for them.
Yeah, that's brilliant. In the olden days, and by olden days I mean like the 1970s, in England you would have imperial stouts and barley wines would be in these cute little 250ml bottles.
So like Thomas Hardy's Vintage Ale is a classic example of that, and Courage Imperial Stout.
Yeah, the Russian Imperial Stout, and just a really beautiful format, a 250ml bottle. And I think it's been your specific agenda for many years now to get brewers to make more of these like big high alcohol beers that are made for sharing often, come in big 750ml bottles, and they're expensive to begin with. But you end up as a big geek like we are, you buy these bottles and you stick them in your cupboard, and there's never an occasion special enough to get them out. And often you're sharing them with one friend. And a 750ml bottle of a 15% barley wine is still quite a lot of booze. And generally when you are drinking with 1 or 2 friends, you'll be drinking a lot of beers over a night. But also, you're definitely never going to open that bottle by yourself. So a 250ml bottle, you would drink it by yourself, or you would share it with a friend in the course of an evening of drinking lots of different beers.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I really love about the reason they've done that 250ml format. And yeah, as Luke says, it's my ongoing campaign, despite the fact that I've recently put a bunch of 10% beers in 440ml cans. Do as I say, not as I do, Jax.
Yeah, it's kind of hard work getting those little cans, and it's a whole thing with canning lines. You have to sort of change the height, and if you don't own the brewery, then you have restrictions, and also just getting hold of the actual tin cans can be difficult. So, big kudos to Urbanaut and Bruce, who's one of the owners there. He's got a degree in beverage packaging, so he's really up there with. That's why a lot of the beers are so innovative when it comes to actually the package that the beer goes in, and it's a thing that's often overlooked with breweries. It's a thing that we do experience and speak about occasionally, that we often get a sample of a beer that we have a drink of, and it's just it's faulted in the packaging, and it's just so unfortunate that brewers go to all this work to make a wonderful beer, and then just some oxygen gets in there, or it has diacetyl, and just all these packaging faults. Because I guess packaging isn't that sexy. People that are, especially when they're starting out with their breweries, they're excited about, you know, hops and adjuncts and the interesting designs and can designs you can do. But it's such a shame to have a beer that's faulted due to packaging, but you will never get a beer that's faulted in the packaging stage from Urbanaut, because they know what's up.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is something that is really stark when you see, for some people, the difference between their kegged product and their packaged product, and that's why often people say that the keg is best, because there's in the one larger vessel there's much less room for oxygen, and it's going into it. It's sealed from the get-go, and so a lot of the time you will find some of the best beers in keg. Like at our Christmas party tomorrow at Fridge and Flagon.
Nice segue. So yeah, obviously today's Friday. We're about to head out on our Friday team drinks. We're having a picnic.
Drink faster.
Yes. And tomorrow we're having a really fantastic event. We've chatted to you about it before. We've got a mad keg lineup. We've got a guy doing really delicious skewers. It's just going to be a really fun time. Joe's working on the Christmas playlist as we speak. But good work at Urbanaut. Thank you for being absolute legends and lovely people. And thanks for continuing to brew crazy beers. I think a lot of people are going to get a kick out of this. It's pretty out there.
Yeah, my 3-year-old's going to love it. Cheers, Jax.
Cheers.